Roberto Ramirez washed his hands stained with grease and oil marks as he debated to go to the Valentine's dance being held in Sebastopol that night. As a 20-year-old student at Santa Rosa JC who worked a part-time job in a car garage, he seldom had time to go out. As he mulled over this, he thought to himself that there might be a chance that the beautiful young lady he had seen at a union meeting only once before, but that had captured his heart's attention, may present herself at the dance. At this thought, he decided it was worth his effort to go. Over the past few weeks, he had been having a powerful urge that felt so primitive and instinctive. It was to hold a child of his own, and he thought that this woman might have the key to fulfilling that need. Some may have ridiculed those thoughts, for he had not spoken to her even once, but Roberto knew his heart was pointing him in the right direction. When he entered the stuffy, crowded hall where the Valentine's dance was being held, his eager eyes scanned the room for any sign of this wonderful human being. Just as he was giving up hope, his eyes fell on the most glamorous young lady in the room, whose face greeted everyone with an inviting expression. He quickly made his way to the crowd of boys asking to dance with her, and in the sea of firm hands, she chose his sweaty, shaky hand. Roberto's heart leaped and danced while he prayed to God to either loosen his feet or his tongue so he could captivate the attention of the girl he had been admiring, whose name he now knew was Eva Mireles. As they talked for the first time, he began falling in love with her. Roberto was not one to have feelings over any girl, but this elegant woman spoke to him in a tone that had the power to mend his wounds, and she looked at him as if her eyes were telling him, "I welcome you. I see you. You exist in my consciousness." This encouraged him even further in his pursuit of her love. They walked out onto the dance floor, and their bodies began swaying to the rhythm of the music, his less graceful than hers. Desperate to please, Roberto cracked jokes in her ear, and her laughter made him more and more confident. After what seemed like an eternity and a split second, they had danced many songs and intermission had arrived. So along with all the other cool guys, Roberto stepped outside for some air. As he entered the hall again, what he saw crushed his heart. Eva was laughing and dancing so effortlessly with her boyfriend and giving him a look of adoration that Roberto could not bear to see. With his heart at his feet, he quickly walked outside, got in his car, and drove away, wishing to never again see the face he could not hold. While he was driving, he remembered the feeling of euphoria he felt as he looked into those brown eyes that seemed like windows into an infinite abyss. With a quick U-turn, he made a rash decision to drive by the hall, and when he did, he saw something even worse than before. Eva was in her boyfriend's arms, kissing him. As he drove past, their eyes met, and his face told her eyes that she would never see him again. The next day at work, Roberto received a call from his friend who worked at a radio station, telling him that someone was dedicating songs to him, and gave him the person's number. Ecstatic, he dialed the number, and the most angelic voice answered in a hopeful tone. The sound of her voice sent his heart soaring and his mind racing. It was Eva, and that's where everything began. They met many times at Annalee High School over the course of 3 months, where Eva was taking classes to learn English at night. By the end of those few months, Roberto had fallen passionately in love with a generous-hearted woman whom he'd hoped would carry his child, so he asked her to be his girlfriend. In addition to this, he told her that if she accepted, he planned to marry her in 2.5 years. She called him crazy, but a part of her knew that this was a man who did not take love lightly, so she accepted, and in 2.5 years they were married. For the past 45 years that they have been married, Roberto has loved Eva just as passionately as the first time he met her. His oil-stained hands have turned into rough hands that have been scarred by time, yet rejuvenated by Eva's light, delicate touch. And his face that has been weathered glows from the love and pride given to him by the family he created with Eva.